Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with our friend Curtis Stange. Curtis was born, raised, and educated on the prairies and is a very proud husband, dad, and grandfather. Oh, it's so shocking. You do not look like a grandfather.
Thank you.
Nice. Besides his loved ones, Curtis is passionate about innovation, customer obsession, and giving back to the community. That is obvious every day. He believes that anything is possible if you take time to listen and work hard. What a great combination. He also loves playing in the Rockies, sports, hiking, and downhill skiing. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Curtis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, great to be with you. Thanks, Kat, for having me. And thanks for creating this platform to share some stories. Great for you to do this. So I'm pleased to be on the podcast today.
Oh, well, you were on my list from the very beginning. We're just both busy. I'm glad that you made it today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you ready for the questions we sent you?
I sure am. Yeah, please.
Awesome. Can you believe it? Almost a year. Can you tell me what your biggest challenge or challenges were over the last year-ish?
Yeah, it has been quite a year. I think again, we're rounding the corner into the middle of January and about to hit February, March, where, we all remember where we were when, the province declared a state of emergency and we as business leaders had to take action. And, for me, the last couple of months, the last 10 months, there's no doubt the challenge has been the same. That is leading an organization like ATB Financial proudly, which is what a great organization to be a part of, 82 years now in the province of Alberta. But as an essential service, as a financial institution that is depended upon for 800,000 Albertans and businesses, you have to show up every day. So the challenge of leading an organization of about 5,000 team members and understanding that behind each one of those team members was a story of their own. And I had many different emotional moments with husbands and wives of team members over that last 10 months where, they wanted to share with me that their husband or their wife or their brother or their sister or their daughter or son was so passionately committed to ATB, but yet they wanted us to recognize that they had a life and they might be caring for an elderly. They might have a grandmother living with them, an elderly parent living with them. 40% of our workforce has kids under the age of 12. And so they were managing through all the challenges that many Albertans face, many Canadians face with respect to balancing kids and back in school and the safety and the bubble that we've all lived in. So for me, the biggest challenge has just been how do you lead an organization forward that's an essential service while at the same time respecting and communicating with empathy, with transparency, with compassion, with inspiration every day to support 5,000 team members so that they can support 800,000 customers, and recognizing again that everybody has their own story to tell. And I do remember one phone call from the husband of a team member quite vividly back in the first wave. This would have been in April or probably early May, where I had a phone call, 8:00 at night or so. And the team member, the husband of the team member just wanted to share with me that, again, they had an elderly mother living with them, and to make sure that we recognized and were empathetic to the needs of our team members, while at the same time increasing the demands and expectations of our ATB team members to show up for customers. And so, I think that for me has been certainly inwardly the biggest challenge I've had over the past 10 months.
I don't know how you've done it, Curtis, or anyone like you that has had such a massive amount of people that are looking up to you for direction and next steps. And I can't even, I've got my own little world and I was struggling. I can't imagine yours.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You surround yourself with great people, which we do. The leadership team at ATB is second to none. The culture that we've created over the past 80 years, is one that is open, has a growth mindset, is willing to do things, to go above and beyond, especially in the context for one another as team members and for our customers. So, there's no doubt that there were some troubling times in the beginning, but overall, the fact that we had the support of team members and the culture and the willingness to do the things we needed to do, it was it was easier than if you were challenged with an organization that might not have had the mindset that we had as an organization. So it certainly made it easier for sure.
And there's that humble leader that I know. Way to go, Curtis.
Yeah.
And how about your top 3 things that you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, I think 3 things that I'd share, resilience, adaptability, and then optimism for the future. And we see the first 2, resilience and adaptability, in Albertans and in Albertan entrepreneurs for sure in spades. As well as I do, this great province was founded, on the back of entrepreneurs and the courageous entrepreneurs that built this great province, which is just so remarkable. And that exists today. And, you see the resilience show up in so many businesses. You look at many breweries that actually stopped producing their primary product to produce hand sanitizer. You look at the connections of small business owners that had connections to procurement of protection and safety equipment that literally were resilient, dropped what they were doing in their main business, pivoted their business. And I remember seeing, plane loads of PPE coming into the Edmonton and Calgary airports. That was because of the proactiveness of our entrepreneurs and the resilience of our entrepreneurs and the survivability. And I think this other notion of resilience is also the acceptance of failure. And I think for me, you mentioned sort of vulnerability and humbleness. I think that's a bit of a fabric of who we are as an organization as well. And, we're okay to admit that we have not got everything perfect. Like there's no way, like we have made some mistakes, but we've reacted to those mistakes in an honest and a vulnerable way and accepted it and moved forward. And I think that resilience of the province has shown up in business leaders and Albertans broadly. So I think resilience is something that I look at very importantly and proudly through the eyes of ATB as an organization, plus the 100,000 businesses that we support and how resilient they've been. The second one would be adaptability. And this one, they go hand in hand to some extent. However, I think adaptability, you look back, I've been in banking now 34 years, and I remember that you had to have average smarts to get into banking. Like we're not the most brilliant people on the face of the earth for sure, but you have to have a half decent IQ. And midway through my career, this EQ came up, this emotional quotient. I think that's so important in leaders today, and especially in the importance of collaboration and partnering. This emotional intelligence to connect with people, to understand and live where people are and be with where they are. The sense of creating a culture of belonging and this whole emotional intelligence, especially around diversity and inclusion. The voices of Black Lives Matter and more broadly BIPOC through the summer and fall were very important for us to hear. So this whole EQ is incredibly important. I think now AQ is probably the most important quotient for leaders, and that's this adaptability quotient, and really defined by a growth mindset. And how open are you to doing things in a different way to get different outcomes? And I think ultimately that's how we define leadership at ATB. And I think broadly will be important for many, many industries outside of financial services, is just how adaptable people are. And again, the example of converting breweries to hand sanitizers and converting your business into importing PPE for the good of the province, I think is our examples of that. But if you put aside the current challenges we're under with the pandemic, with the drop in demand for energy and the resulting price collapse and the price war between the Saudis and the Russians early on, I think if you put those trends to the side and look at the macro trends that existed even pre-pandemic, the massive processing power of technology, the massive use of data, the changing expectations of consumers, the demand for businesses to be more than just a bank, to offer value to a community in ways that we were never expected to provide before, the changing regulatory environment of the energy business, of environmental, of the banking industry, and the regulatory changes that are happening. There's no doubt those trends are undeniable, and those macro trends are influencing businesses, and we need to be adaptable. So I think, again, for me, I talk to leaders all the time about resiliency, about adaptability. And then the third thing I would just leave with the audience is just the optimism for the future. And, I think, again, we are in, I think everybody, including myself, when you change the calendar literally or figuratively from December 31st to January 1st, we perhaps in our own little way psychologically wanted everything just to be great. We know it's not going to be. We know we've got some heavy times ahead. We're optimistic about the vaccines. We're optimistic about rapid testing. We're optimistic that, businesses will be able to open up again gradually, and we will get back to not what we're referring to as normal or even a new normal. We're referring to it as an entirely new frontier. And that, again, is this resiliency, adaptability, growth mindset that we are not returning to the same. There's been too many major changes in how people live their lives and what they expect of businesses to go back to anything included with normal in the sentence, right? So we're going into this whole new frontier. And I want to go into it with optimism that we know that the resiliency and adaptability of Albertans and Alberta businesses has been tested before. It's being tested again. And we believe that we're putting the right building blocks in place to thrive in the future. And we have an incredibly strong value proposition as a province, whether it's just the lifestyle, the low corporate tax rates, the openness to hear, and the belonging that we create in this great province. We should be optimistic about the future. And I think we will diversify the economy. We will lean into industries like energy, like agriculture, but we'll also see them evolve. And they are evolving because of these macro trends. And so we should be optimistic about the future. So I could talk about it for a while. I apologize for going on too long, but I just am so optimistic about the future of Alberta.
I am too. I took two things from what you said. That's the first time I've heard adaptability quotient. So happy to continue using that. And
Yeah.
I also love new frontier, and I'm going to start using that too. So thank you. I'm going to say that Curtis told me to.
Right on. Right on.
Is there anything in closing that you'd like to share? Anything else?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, it was, we made decision early on as a leadership team to focus on three things at ATB. One was the protection and the safety, the health, physical safety, and the psychological safety of our 5,300 team members, supporting Albertans through the pandemic and the crisis, and then making sure that we made the right decisions for the long-term viability and sustainability of ATB as an organization, because obviously we, like other companies, were under challenge back in March and April. And, I think the legacy for us as leaders and for us as an organization will be defined by our actions early on. And again, while we didn't get it perfect, I think we made a lot of right decisions. And, while we've been able to help protect the health and safety of team members, I think I would leave with you that we're equally as proud of how we've supported the psychological safety of team members. And we've invested in organizations like Inkblot, a very proactive, futuristic digital provider of programs and employee and family assistance programs. We've partnered with Headversity. Dr. Ryan Todd and his team at Headversity are remarkable, and we've since signed them on and scaled their program around resiliency to all 5,300 team members, and they've integrated with Inkblot, which has been remarkable. Like, you put big brain people in a room and it's remarkable what they'll do. So, we're very proud that not only have we supported the physical health and safety of our team members, but even more importantly, I think, is the psychological safety. And that's something that we're going to have to continue to support for months and years to come as a result of this pandemic and economic shock. So I would just want to leave that with you in the audience.
I agree with you. And thank you for supporting local as well, as you always do. This is an ATB move always.
Yeah, absolutely. We're proud of that. We converted our entire ATB Booster platform, which is a crowdfunding platform, as you know, and we converted it to supporting Albertan businesses. And pre-Christmas, we actually got on there, and I think a lot of us had a lot of fun shopping at local stores on our Booster platform, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome, Curtis. Well, I hope you and your team continue to do well and everyone stays safe and enjoys 2021. It's going to be the best year yet.
I think it will be too. Thanks, Kat, for this platform and for inviting me as a guest. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Curtis. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Everyone, Curtis Stange with ATB, a great success story here in Alberta. And please, please, please continue promoting all the good things that they're doing and reach out to them. They'll help you if you need them. Take care. Have a great day. Enjoy. Bye.